let me do a little quick check-in for the Blck Company. This is probably for Chapter 4, Whsphr, where in the service of their Dark Lady, basically a Dark Lord, the Blck Company has a new mission, which is in this chapter, they discover a cache of documents which have the true names of some of the Taken, and these being wizards, having their true name is a dangerous thing. Like Soul Catcher, Whsphr, not Whsphr, the Limper, all these guys, they have fake names that they go by, but they have true names as well, which apparently would have power over them. So this information is comes from, and it also talks about the lady and the Dominator back in the day, back maybe before they were the thing. But they get a mission, which is they're going to take out Limper, and he has apparently been betraying them, because he's been doing so poorly, perhaps, has been taking up with a rebel general named the Whsphr, who is a woman, and they're given arrows. Soulcatcher gives, and for some reason Croaker is added to this thing. It's going to be Raven and Croaker are going to go and do the deed, going to ambush and supposedly kill both of them. What happens though is that Soulcatcher gives Croaker, who is going to shoot Whsphr, a knockout arrow, basically something that's blunted and soft that you apply to the head and apparently knock out your assailant. So it's like, why are we doing that? Well, not really given information because they're soldiers, and they do not get to hear the big plans. They only get to execute and see what results. So Soulcatcher loads them up on a very carefully balanced magic carpet, takes them as close as he can to the scene. Basically, Soulcatcher can't be there himself because himself, I think he goes by himself, even though he has multiple voices, many of which are female. And he can't be there himself because the Limper would sense him. Possibly Whsphr would as well. People of power. So you need someone who's low level to do the deed. And so they get themselves set up. It's basically a long wait. The Limper is already there. They kind of circle around so they have the right light, and they just wait and they wait and they wait until Whsphr shows up. Whsphr actually almost rides right over them as she's showing up, but luckily they're not spotted. They come together. It's almost like a little assignation, kind of almost romantic. And they Croaker and Raven shoot. Raven has got a lot of grudges against Limper because Limper seems to be the reason why his wife and friends tried to kill him and take all his property and things. Like that's we open this novel, Raven's part of the novel, with him strangling his wife in front of the Blck Company. And yes, so he doesn't kill Limper. He's decided, no, I'm sure there's something that worse could happen. And they do knock out Whsphr, who is very tough. They have to, basically do that, kick her, beat her up, tie her, gag her, and definitely gag Limper because he's they have to gag Limper, and he starts doing stuff with his fingers, and Croaker notices, and so Raven chops his fingers off, which is like, he'd gotten kind of ribbing from some of the guys saying like, oh, you're so easy on the things, but it's like, no, they do some pretty nasty stuff, and here I am showing Raven chopping off the fingers of Limper, so he can't make any magical signs and stuff like that. It will go away. For Whsphr, I think they cut off her hair and tangle that in her fingers, so she can't do anything that way. I guess if you're upper level here, you've definitely got magical arts under your belt in the thing. And it's like nobody wants to kill Limper, and it's like, well, it finally goes up the thing, and it's like, yeah, the lady arrives, the Dark Lady, and it's like it is this kind of glowing, otherworldly force who, up until this point, Croker has kind of written these kind of rather silly kind of fantasies of, like, you know, her being kind of more beautiful than man could thing. It's kind of romantic kind of bullshit. She devises, yes, basically horrible tortures for Limper, which are going to last forever and ever and ever. You know, uh, basically reducing him to a stump that is going to last in torment for a long time. And then she turns her attention to Whsphr because they need a replacement, and they need a replacement who is like the top rebel general of the people who are rebelling against her, and is going to converts her into a Taken. And I think she turns to Soulcatcher and says, "Yeah, let everyone know it's not just my husband who can take. I can as well. Anyone who's thinking about resurrecting my husband, remind them of that." And she bends and she starts to whisper to whisper to Whsphr, and yeah, there are then what follows seems to be, from Coker's perspective, incredibly muddled, confused days upon days, filled with Whisper's screaming, where basically she is apparently taken apart, put back together, to be fanatically loyal. And it's like, you know, these misshapen, bizarre faces behind these masks. I think this is maybe a part of the process of being taken, is what this does to us, does to them. And she leaves, and Soulcatcher is like, well, I shouldn't leave you guys because, like, you know, we need to, you know, it's like you can see he's struggling. He actually has a slight sense of honor, is how Croker takes it, that, you know, he doesn't want to leave men behind. But it's like, look, we're not going to be, Raven is completely knocked out. Basically they've been haunted by just a gigantic orb eye, this thing of the eye again. It's very Sauron-ish that way. This giant yellow eye turning itself upon them, even glancingly from, you know, what this doing stuff with the Whsphr. It's great at, and it's like, you know, I am haunted, and this is Croker at the very end of this chapter. I am haunted by the lady's laughter. I am haunted by my suspicion that we are furthering the cause of something that deserves to be scrubbed from the face of the earth. I am haunted by the conviction that those bent upon the lady's eradication are little better than she is. I am haunted by the clear knowledge that, in the end, evil always triumphs. So that, I think, is a good just sort of mission statement for this Blck company, who is in the employee of a Dark Lord, but they're looking across and they're looking at the heroes who seem to be using about basically the same methodology, and going, you are basically no much better. Like, if we lose and you guys win, evil will still triumph in the end. Yeah. So, but it's also just interesting, his infatuation with Lady, which is like, you know, is that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac? Is that just like kind of romanticizing evil? You know, the good looking, beautiful Dark Lady kind of gets somebody's rocks off. It does in, you know, you look at evil villainess women. There's conflating power and sexuality all together. It's yeah. So I'm enjoying my reread of the Blck Company. I will leave it there for the moment. More videos later. Oh, and yes, for my references later, yeah, it's the end of chapter 4, Whsphr, where I got that quote from. Just the very end. All right, more videos later.